Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup coming to a wrap last night. I wanted to give my predictions for the semifinals and the finals. But before we get to that, let's recap the quarterfinals real quick. So, 2 nights ago, there was two games. One was the Orlando Magic taking on the Miami Heat, with the Orlando Magic taking home this victory from an absolute explosion from Desmond Bane, who had 37. You know, he's really been able to put it together as of recently. To start the year, the thing around him was that he just couldn't hit anything, and this last week he's really figured out the three. He's been shooting, I think, at like a 40 something percent, other than the game on the fifth, which he was really bad. But the rest of the week and the week before, he's really been figuring it out how to get it down and in and back, back to his Memphis form, right? And this is why Orlando traded for him. He's able, as we saw, he's in Memphis. He's able to take over games. When Ja was out, he was able to take it over. And with Franz going down with that injury, he's able to just take over some games and really lead Orlando to the win. And Paolo didn't play very well on his on one of he hadn't played very well since his return. But with Bane figuring out like this, they might just be all right. They might be all right until Paolo can really get back in the flow of things. On the other side, Tyler Hero had 20 on 7 for 17. He had some really bad misses tonight, right? He was 0 for 6 from 3, and they weren't like bad shots by any means. They were just like wide open shots that he really wishes he could have back. It was just one of those nights in the office where he just couldn't hit anything. And the same goes for this team. Norman Powell led the way with 21. He was 8 for 19 and 4 from 12 from 3. With how this Miami offense works, it's going to lead to a lot of threes. And if you're not hitting them, it's just going to be a really tough night in the office. And that's what happened, They just couldn't hit anything. On the other side, the Knicks and the Raptors. So the Knicks took this one home, and it was from a 35-point performance from Jalen Brunson. I love this New York Knicks offense. I don't talk about the Knicks much. I don't know why. I just haven't made one video on the Knicks yet. But this team is really good. And my favorite part about this team is this new Mike Brown offense. It's not just like last year we saw it was Jalen Brunson. Here's the ball. Go superhero mode. We're going to watch here and enjoy the show. Right? And, at points that would lead to stagnation. But this year, the new offense is, everyone gets involved, right? And it's super important that Jalen Brunson isn't always this pure ISO, everyone watch, right? It gives him possessions where he can calm down, he can relax a little bit, he can sit in the corner and just breathe and be able to save himself for those big moments where they're gonna need him. And, like I said, every single starter on this team had 10 plus shots. Even Jordan Clarkson had 10 shots. So it's just getting everybody involved more. And it's a really fun offense to watch. And that led to their win tonight. On the Raptors side, everybody sucked, right? Except for Brandon Ingram. He had 31. But there was no Quick. He was dealing with an illness tonight. And RJ Barrett missed his 9th straight game. But they were really bad, Jamal Sheed had 18. Scotty and Jacoby Walter, had 13 each. They just couldn't hit anything. And then Brandon Ingram, they just couldn't hit anything. And obviously, the Knicks scored more points. And obviously that'd be easy for me to say, but that's what happened, Scotty being your best player, only having 13 is a tough sight to watch. They also got out-rebounded pretty bad. There was a 9 rebound differential. But they just couldn't hit anything. They looked really bad. So that was the Eastern quarterfinals. On the Western side of things, the first game last night was the Thunder and the Suns. The Thunder won. They won by a lot. I mean, you could throw the local homeless man and his dog out there, shooting guard a small forward, and Shade's going to drop 50, Chet's going to drop a solid, 21, 12, and 9, and they would win by 30. I mean, just give the homeless man some AC for, a couple hours, and they're going to win. I mean, they held this Suns team to 89 points. That's the 6th lowest amount of points scored in a game this season. And Dillon Brooks, the Suns' top scorer, only had 16 points. The top scorer on the Suns was 16. There was no D-Book, but Dillon Brooks had 16 points. That's insane. So, I don't think a single one of us is surprised by that. However, what did surprise a lot of people was the Lakers and the Spurs. The Spurs with a little bit of an upset, It was an incredible game out of Fox and Castle, but Castle went crazy at 30, 10, and 6. But it was, like I said, it was a good game for the whole team. 7 of the 9 players who played meaningful minutes scored more than 10 points. And, what else can you ask for? When your entire rotation is scoring, it's going to be a good night. It wasn't even a bad night from the Lakers, to be honest. If you look at the score, like the box score, Luka had 35. And, everybody played decently well, other than really Austin Reeves. But it was just, at a certain point in the second quarter, they got down at, 19 and 20 at points. The box score looked good, but at certain points, they just weren't scoring. So, shot attempts and field goal percentage looked good, but they just went, minutes on end without scoring. So, that's, a 20-point deficit's always going to be hard to come back from, especially when the other team just can't miss and everybody's scoring. But yeah, the Spurs had a little bit of an upset. So, especially shout out to my guy Marcus Smart. He had 26 last night, a former Defensive Player of the Year, so shout out Marcus Smart. Anyway, so getting into the predictions. So on the Eastern side, we're going to have the Magic and the Knicks. I think the Knicks take this one. They look better, and they look like the more cohesive team, in my opinion, than the Magic. The Magic are going to have to rely on Desmond Bane again, and with how good of a defensive team that, the Knicks are with Mikal and OG and McBride, I just don't really see a world where they let Desmond Bane beat them. And hopefully Paolo can figure it out in this game and really, really get going. But I don't know. He's going to have a tough matchup with Mitchell Robinson and Cat. So I really just don't see a world where this Magic team wins this game. On the other side, the Thunder and the Spurs will go at it. No Vic. I doubt this Thunder team lets, the entire Spurs rotation go crazy like the Lakers did. So, the Thunder are going to take this one. Are any of us really that surprised? And then in the finals will be the Thunder and the Knicks. I do see this being a really good game. Ooh, this is a tough one. Let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see if they've played already. Let me see. Thunder versus Knicks. 25-26 season. Let's see. So, no. Oh, wait. As of late March. Yeah. March 9th. No, okay. So, they have not played yet this season. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to pick the upset. I have no absolute reason to take this upset. The Thunder are going to win, but I don't care. The New York Knicks will be your NBA Cup champions. Woo-hoo! Go Knicks! I don't know why. I say that. I hope it happens. No real reason. I don't hate the Thunder or nothing. I just want to see them lose. That's all. They're 24-1. Lose a basketball game. Just every once in a while. So, go Knicks, baby. That's if that happens. We could see another upset. I don't know. We'll see. But those are my predictions for the NBA Cup. Hey, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching. And just remember, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy with a microphone and an opinion. Peace out.